the seventh Umbral Calamity was a tumultuous time. Familiar locales were wiped off the face of the star, while others survived the fire, only to be abandoned and left to rot in the years to come. Poor Maid's Mill is one such hamlet. While it managed to endure the wrath of Bahamut, it nonetheless fell victim to the churning waves of uncertainty and chaos that followed in its wake. Today we'll be exploring what's left of Poor Maid's Mill, what really led to its economical decline, and who stands today to restore the mill to its former glory. My name is Juliet, and this is the Eorzean Historian. Maid's Mill rests on the western banks of Bronze Lake. The date of its founding isn't particularly clear, but it flourished during the 6th Astral Era. It was established as a woodcutter's hamlet, so almost everyone who lived there had a hand in logging, one way or another. The name Poor Maid's Mill is all that remains on record for the hamlet's namesake, but the name actually derives from the fact that many of the men who worked the forests would never return, be it from the wood themselves or the beasts within, leaving many of their wives widowed, giving birth to the name. Eventually, the deaths began to outweigh the growth, which in turn began an economical decline. While the hamlet did miraculously survive the 7th Umbral Calamity, the months that followed would be a final nail in the coffin of this already dying hamlet. No one remained that could fulfill the needs of logging, and the beasts that stalked the forest had become far more difficult to manage in the chaos. Eventually, early into the 7th Umbral Era, the remaining residents of the hamlet packed up what little they had left and departed, leaving their homes in a ghostly purgatory. For years, the hamlet decayed under the humid, moist La Noscean ecosystem, but recently, the skeleton of this once prosperous village has been reinvigorated with new blood. Pirates known as the Salthounds have given up their life on the high seas to restore Poor Maid's Mill. Led by the captain, Rabid Ratata, the Salthounds reached the Forsaken Grounds about 2 years after the fall of Dalamud. Having themselves lost their ship and half their crew in the destruction, they were a shell of their former selves. It isn't clear why the captain sought to make a sudden change from piracy to restorationist. The Salthounds follow their captain regardless of the mission. While not every one of them is happy with the arrangement, none would ever turn on the captain they both fear and love. Rabid Ratata was born on the Salthound ship, and when she was just a baby, her parents passed away within a moon of each other in unrelated accidents. From an early age, she would brandish a dull axe, and didn't really see the likes of other children. The other Salthounds felt they should have put her up for foster care, but didn't have the heart to. Born on a ship, raised on a ship, surrounded by bilge-rats and scoundrels, it was only a matter of time before Ratata developed her own bloodlust. Before long, her dulled axe was changed for a sharper one, and she herself gutted the captain of the Salthounds and took control, and in control she remains to this day. Despite my many attempts to interview her, and decipher her reasonings for choosing the mill to settle and leave the life of the seas behind, I have come up with absolutely nothing. All I can say for certain is that her motives, whatever they may be, almost seem personal. And so, I wonder if some distant past of hers that she may have ties to this place. But, unless she's willing to divulge, we'll simply never know. The crew spends their days attempting to rebuild the sanctuary, often running into the very same problems the millers themselves once faced. Constant raids by rats, squirrels, buffaloes, and kobolds have drastically slowed their process, and threaten their little piece of La Noscea. So, if you ever find yourself passing through the area, take a moment to lend them a hand. I know they're a bit rough around the edges, but I'm sure they're good people. Deep, very deep down. Most of what remains of the hamlet is horribly diseased with rotting wood and decrepit foundations. The fence surrounding the hamlet also has two distinct periods of wood. There's the original structures, which are dense with mold and moss, and the newer barricades, which are built and upkept by the Salthounds. The south entrance to the hamlet once contained a large ramp, likely used to transport the logs easily. However, the ramp has long since collapsed on itself, and I don't recommend anyone attempting to climb on it. Countless tools and items have been left behind by the original residents. Spools for rope, axes, crates and sacks, and ropes themselves. Massive piles of cut timber lay abandoned in shacks beside each home, and wells sit boarded up, their buckets tossed aside. Littered throughout the camp are a few tables and tents filled with supplies that are clearly belonging to the Salthounds. The distinctive difference in the state of the wood and items is enough to tell you that. Far at the back of the mill rests a looming tower. At its base is a pile of carelessly tossed aside supplies, likely dropped from the tower's many levels as they were packed up, but ultimately abandoned. Once used by scouts to scan the horizon for oncoming danger, today it sits as a reminder of mankind's determination to survive in a harsh environment. The houses themselves are in complete disrepair. Engulfed in rotten moss, they stand as shells. The doors are boarded up, their metal fixings rusted beyond repair. Their porches filled with infected supplies, while their interiors are stripped of any sign that people once called these ruins home. The north gate holds a large ramp, though this one is still intact. It opens up into Fool's Falls, so named because the loggers would work atop the cliffs and send logs down the river, and anyone foolish enough to bathe at the waterfall's base would be crushed by the cargo. While there isn't much remaining to show the deeper details of the lives of those who struggled to survive here, there is one spot I find particularly melancholic. In the backyard of one of the houses, there rest a few key items. Firstly, there's a log on stilts, with a Lalafellin step stool beside it. This implies at least one, if not more, of the residents were Lalafellin, but also showcases a workspace. Beside it is a table made from an overturned spool, with a lamp, a brazier, and several bottles left to waste. The dual lighting is such an interesting thing. Was the brazier present for warmth? To light something? Was it a backup in case the lamp itself went out? Maybe it burned an incense that repelled the many bugs navigating the wilds. We may never know, but damn it if I don't want to. There is also a stump with an axe sticking out of it, and split wood scattered at the base. It makes you wonder about that last cut. Was it when Bahamut rose? Or was it a weakened attempt by a loving spouse to carry on a logger's legacy? All we know for certain is that someone, at some point in time, dropped that axe for the last time, and be it from emotional defeat or a rushed abandonment, they left the split halves of the wood exactly where they fell, never to be touched again. Now, it isn't just bloodthirsty pirates that inhabit poor Maid's mill. One of the only structures to actually be in good condition is the house of a scholar named Tonga. He has been here studying the remains of Thalous, a topic to be covered another time. The house's architecture is identical to those found in poor Maid's mill, even if the building rests a stone's throw from the possible border. The ramp, however, might have been built after the calamity by Tanga himself, though we have no way of determining that. The other inhabitants live a bit further out, the proprietors at Memeroon's trading post. Originally housed on the east bank alone, when the Salthounds began attempting to restore the mill, Memeroon set up shop on the west bank as well, in order to share the profits of rebuilding. In fact, if you track him down, a junkmonger representing the trading post can be found wandering the ruins with some unique offers. while much of the deeper histories of Poor Maid's Mill have been lost to time, and the Salthound's choice for residing here just as mysterious. The very fact that it does exist connects us to a moment in time, nearly eradicated. And not everything is etched in stone, especially in a woodcutter's Hamlet, but one thing is for certain. The efforts of the Salthounds may very well guarantee the Hamlet's survival, and with the help of a passing adventurer or two, they may one day achieve their dream of truly restoring the mill and breathing a new life into this forgotten corner of the realm. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I know it was shorter than normal, but I hope the history of Poor Maid's Mill was enough to catch your eye. And if you think you know what might be coming next, drop a guess in the comments below. If you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to spread the love, feel free to like and share as well. You're also welcome to join my Discord for even more updates, or if you just want to join us for movie nights or make some friends. This has been the Eorzean Historian, signing off until our next great adventure. Ciao for now!